Hello, hello, hello. So I don't usually like injecting Fox News into my eyeballs, but this, thumbnail with the Chaos and Carnage really just called to me, especially because can we just look at this really, really quickly? Um, the Chaos and Carnage is like a bunch of ICE agents shooting tear gas at one guy filming them. That's it. Like, I mean, already just in the thumbnail, we're off to a crazy start. Besides the fact that, like, obviously Portland doesn't have chaos and carnage all around it, except that done by the ICE agents. But let's go further.
Begin with new developments in the state of Illinois, where left-wing agitators are quite literally waging war against federal immigration officials.
Again, the thumbnail they have right now is ICE shooting tear gas at some guy filming. That's it. It is ICE causing chaos and carnage, if anything.
Same out in Portland, 100+ nights of violence. Over the weekend, federal officers were boxed in by a convoy in Chicago of around 10 vehicles driven by these bad actors. One agitator armed with a semi-automatic weapon even rammed her car into a federal law enforcement vehicle, causing a U.S. Customs and Border Protection agent to have to return fire. And
okay, so I'm pretty sure he's talking about the lie that was sounded off about that one woman who they shot, who also apparently he called her a bitch like as they shot her, which is just ridiculous. No, he didn't have to return fire. She didn't ram into him. This is insane. If it's something else that he's talking about, maybe I'm wrong here. But the way they go about spreading this misinformation to try to defend the militarization of our cities, just look at it for a second. Like, he really, really wants your streets to have the military running through them. And yeah, when people get kidnapped, when buildings get raided for no reason and they do dragnet operations, like, of course people are going to be angry at them.
look at your screen. This video, reposted by Assistant DHS Secretary Tricia McLaughlin, shows another vehicular assault on an ICE vehicle. And meanwhile, immigration officials were also surrounded by an angry mob on the ground. But according to a shocking report from our very own Bill...
Yeah, because you're racing through the streets in a Humvee. Of course people are upset by that. And sending in more troops will make them less upset.
Illusion. Chicago's patrol chief allegedly refused to allow units to respond, leaving a handful of federal officials on their own for a significant period of time.
That might be because ICE has been repeatedly making false police calls, like numerous accounts of them.
Chicago's police department and incompetent mayor and governor are denying. But as you can see, it was a scary weekend in and around the Windy City. Threats against ICE agents now up nationwide over 1,000%. Elected
because they're going into cities and kidnapping people and throwing people to the ground and doing actual violence against people. So yeah, there are going to be more threats. No, people shouldn't make threats. ICE shouldn't be doing this.
Democrats say keep pouring fuel on the fire. For example, Senator Tammy Duckworth just compared ICE agents to the Gestapo. Take a look.
Oh no, that's so much worse than the ICE agents being like the Gestapo. Yeah, it really sucks that you were compared to the people who you're exactly like. I'm really sorry for you.
They lie. Right? The Trump administration lies. We have a president who's a known liar, and they have been lying about the situation all along. They are using Gestapo tactics in Chicago, and this is what Trump wants to do, right? He wants to intimidate the people of Chicago. That's not going to happen.
No, it's not the Gestapo. It's the law of our land. Meanwhile, Chicago...
No, it's not the law of our land. They're explicitly changing the law and doing stuff extrajudiciously, which is why they're repeatedly being told they can't do this, which is why there are so many judges blocking them from using ICE and the National Guard in the ways that he has. So you're just wrong here.
Mayor, the ever-incompetent Brandon Johnson, claiming that ICE is operating in his city because Republicans, get this, never accepted the results of the Civil War. Not making it up. Decide for yourself.
A couple of years ago, I said very candidly that The right wing in this country wants a rematch of the Civil War.
Yeah, a lot of them do. A lot of them still carry Confederate flags. That's, not crazy. Sure, a lot of people carry because of the history and that. But, I mean, I think a lot of people on that side will be willing to state that openly.
I want that to sit in right now because the President of the United States of America has declared war on the people of Chicago and people across America.
Johnson now declaring, quote, ice-free zones in his city. By the way, a meaningless act thanks to the Supremacy Clause. That would be called the Constitution. Maybe he should read.
Oh, God, the smugness on in his voice. Yeah, it is symbolic in a lot of ways, but that he should still be doing it. We should still be fighting back in every single way that we can. And the way that Sean just loves that the federal government can come into any city and take it over. He's just so gleeful. He's a really don't try to me guy, isn't he?
It one day, a move designed to stir anger among his radical base. Naturally, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker can never keep his big mouth shut. He's ignorant and pathetically trying to jump into the fray.
He's so, venomous and just spiteful. His big fat mouth can't keep it shut.
Classic Democratic take. He's trying to blame Donald Trump for disturbing peace in Chicago. First of all,
how could he do that? Wow. I mean, it's not like ICE, took Black Hawk helicopters to a downtown apartment complex and then destroyed people's doors, getting everybody out of the complex, throwing people's stuff to the ground, and tying up children and handcuffing them, bringing them outside. It's not like that happened. And they made propaganda about it.
There is no peace in Chicago. Secondly, President Trump is trying to bring peace to Chicago because he and the mayor and every other elected official refuse to do their job. And
crime's going down. I hate this talking point. It's a lie. He's wrong. Crime's going down across the board, especially in the cities that Trump's actually attacking. Memphis is huge crime. The crime is going down. In Portland, crime is going down by 51%, at least violent crime. There were 2 months without a homicide. He's wrong here.
Have law and order and safety and security. Take a look.
And none of that's happening when you send ICE agents to raid apartment complexes like that, or to destroy people's windows, or to throw them to the ground, or shoot, tear gas at them. Like, that doesn't create more law and order. Hiring 18-year-olds to be ICE agents to round up more people by racially profiling them isn't law or order.
They're raiding neighborhoods where instead of going after the bad guys, they're just picking up people who are brown and black and then checking their credentials. Are you a U.S. citizen? They are the ones that are making it a war zone. They need to get out of Chicago if they're not going to focus on the worst of the worst, which is what the president said they were going to do.
Even if they're focusing on the worst of the worst, like the way they go about that is not okay. When somebody does a crime, then you pick them up. It's insane. Like, trying to go and find pre-crime is ridiculous.
They need to get the heck out. This raid at this building is emblematic of what ICE and CBP and the President of the United States, Kristi Noem and Greg Bovino, are trying to do. They want mayhem on the ground. They want to create the war zone so that they can send in even more troops.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to that fake news CNN real-time fact-checking that they were so committed to? Oh, that only applies to Donald Trump. Now, Pritzker was sworn.
What does that even mean? He didn't. I mean, he was making claims there, but he was just he was making observations about the party. He was saying his opinion of that. That's not something you can fact check there. That last thing that he was saying. It's also true. Like, you can make a very sound argument for it, but it's not like a fact checking thing. That's.
Sworn in. Since he's been sworn in, there have been more than 4,000 murders in the city of Chicago. But he's more worried about Donald Trump disturbing the peace in the city of Chicago.
He's not more worried about that. Right now, Donald Trump is coming in and making things worse, disrupting things even more. Like, you're right. We should be focused on lessening crime in the city. What Donald Trump is doing is not that. He is simply riling more people up. He is simply going in there and doing these insanely inhumane policies where he's tying children up. That doesn't create less crime. That creates more resentment. And he knows that. Like, JB Pritzker just called him out on it, and instead of actually addressing it, he's just deflecting.
By sending in law enforcement and following the law and enforcing immigration law, and not the 4,000 Americans that were killed under his watch. He failed to protect innocent people in Chicago.
And he's tying that to immigration, which is not valid. And we'd love to focus on it, use our resources to actually do that, which would mean lessening poverty. If you want crime to go down, there's one way to do it. Destroy poverty. Do a war on poverty. This is the only way you can effectually do a war on crime.
Go. Innocent people in Illinois. Of course, this kind of dehumanization against federal officials, it's not going to end well. I pray to God I'm wrong. Keep in mind.
Dehumanization of federal officials as they're showing protesters being harassed. It's crazy.
According to the DHS secretary, they already face serious threats all across the globe. This is how bad it's getting. Take a
From
look.
people walking around with phones.
Our intelligence indicates that these people are organized. They're getting more and more people on their team as far as attacking officers, and they're making plans to ambush them and to kill them. We have specific officers and agents that have bounties that have been put out on their heads. It's been $2,000 to kidnap them, $10,000 to kill them. They've released their pictures. They've sent them between their networks, and it's an extremely dangerous situation and unprecedented.
Yeah, obviously setting up bounties for people is terrible, and that is not what a vast, vast majority of people do. They always want to take those individuals and make them, the representatives of the entire group, almost like they like stereotypes. Isn't that crazy?
And sadly and pathetically, Democrats don't seem to care at all about any of that. They just want to motivate their radical base, sow chaos, divide the country, and
There's a problem happening. ICE agents have bounties on their head. Let's just stick with that. Like, we can talk about the history behind that, but whatever. There's a problem happening where ICE agents have a bounty on their head. And Sean Hannity is saying, look how evil these Democrats are for saying that people are evil. It's been done to death. We all know what's happening. They project every single thing they're doing, but it's just so ridiculous. Look how these evil people are dividing our country. And it sucks. It's like, I'm on here saying, like, look how this evil guy is saying that other people are evil.
And because of a selfish, nonstop, never-ending hatred of Donald Trump and his supporters.
I hate when they I hate when they do, like, oh, they just hate him. They hate everything else. It's ridiculous. We hate him for specific reasons. Yeah, people do hate Trump because he's the worst for an almost infinite number of reasons. That's why his plan to just do as many evil things as possible works so well, because then they can do, like, oh, they just hate him for everything. Yeah, because almost everything he does is bad. And then you have to talk about almost every single thing he does to get them to see that. And then, there'll always be one thing that they kind of like, so the rest doesn't matter. Anyway, it's absolutely ridiculous. The only chaos and carnage that is happening is being caused by these ICE agents and by the National Guard, which Trump is using to terrorize our cities. Trump is the terrorist in this scenario. Thank you all for watching. Please leave a comment, please like and subscribe.